Welcome back to my series in which we investigate the major changes that Wicked for Good made to the source material that is Act 2 of the stage musical play Wicked. Today we're talking about Prince Fiyero as played by the sexiest man alive, Jonathan Bailey, and answering your burning questions about that ending in Wicked for Good. Now at first glance, both the stage and screen versions of Prince Fiyero seem largely the same, following the same character plot points and the same general character arc. However, there's something about Jonathan Bailey's specific approach to the characterization of Fiyero that makes him feel entirely different. Before we talk about Act 2, let's talk about the first time we meet Fiyero. Now in the stage version, he is carried in by cards before going into dancing through life, communicating more of a frat boy energy about him as he is just passively being carried into Shiz University. In the screen version, we meet Fiyero on horseback. Quick note about Feldspar, the horse that he rides in on, he not only talks, but he's a distinctive shade of blue, which is a nod to a line that was spoken in the original Wizard of Oz film, which is an idiom, a horse of a different color. And that's a visual joke that plays out in the Wizard of Oz with these three differently colored horses being swapped in the same scene. Making movie Fiyero ride in on horseback not only gives the character a little bit more agency, but it also gives him a moment alone with Elphaba when they first meet, whereas in the stage version, he meets her amongst the rest of the students at Shiz, and it's not initially clear that he is interested in her, in the same way that movie Fiyero definitely shows an air of intrigue. It really translates well into cluing the audience in that there's a little bit more to his character than meets the eye. And his role alongside Elphaba as a co-conspirator, not just a romantic partner, feels a little bit more elevated. Which underscores the gender dynamics between Glinda and Elphaba and Fiyero, because as a prince, you would think that he would have some level of influence or power. Yes, he has a role in the Wizard's Guard, however, it's Glinda and Elphaba who have all the public scrutiny and all of the pressure to perform the titles that they're given. Just like Glinda and Elphaba, we see that Fiyero is powerless until he takes control of the narrative, which he does at the end of Wicked for Good. The events at the castle at the end of Wicked for Good play out very similarly to the stage version. However, I think the stage version makes it so that the audience is clued into what is happening a little bit better. In both the stage and screen versions, Glinda saw that Fiyero was strung up in the field by the other guards, and it's Chistry that hands Elphaba a piece of Fiero's uniform, confirming her beliefs that he has died. And Elphaba lets her know that's the last time we'll see his face. And in fact, what Chistry is actually handing Elphaba is a note that Fiyero wrote on his own uniform. So when Elphaba is saying that's the last time we've seen his face, it's because she knows that he's gone through a transformation. And there's an actual note that is written out in the stage version, and you can see it right here. Pause to read. So it's Fiyero that proposes a plan that she uses one of the trapdoors in the castle that of course he knows about because it is his castle. And it's his idea that they tell no one. I'm endlessly fascinated with the many ways that they made these subtle changes to really exacerbate all of the major themes of Wicked in a very personal way. Unfortunately, unlike Box Transformation, I wasn't a huge fan of the way that they depicted the Scarecrow in the movie version. However, I'm still a big fan of what Jonathan Bailey did with this character, and still swooning over As Long As You're Mine. So that is my breakdown of how they changed Fiyero's character from the stage to the screen, but if you want my full stage to screen comparison, you can check out my video here on YouTube.